New Artist Spotlight Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the New Artist Spotlight Podcast. I am your co-host, Wilko Wilkes.
And I am Big OG, you know me, Origin Cross. Glad to be back in the seat. Now, if you've watched or listened before, you'll know that we're here to interview some artists from the New Artist Spotlight family of playlists, which are your gateway to some of the freshest and most exciting new music from independent artists from around the globe.
That's right. And today's guest, looking forward to meeting him, a fellow Brit, which everyone will be pleased to hear. I know we're loved worldwide. Welcome to the show, Charlie Smith. How are you doing, mate?
Hello, I'm all right, and we are proud to be British. I would say that our reputation does precede us, really, doesn't it, really? We do like drinking, but we don't have bad teeth, as people say. That is a common misconception. Although my teeth aren't great, to be honest. But they're not all terrible. They're all right, so yeah.
Can't argue with that.
So give us an overview of who you are, right? I mean, we know you. We've been listening to you for a while, but for anybody who's just now getting introduced to you, give us a quick synopsis of who you are, how you got started.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've been playing music for quite a while. Sort of more in sort of a band sort of scene when I was younger. I didn't really sing, to be honest. I just sort of play guitar. But sort of last couple of years, I sort of just gave it a go, really, and started sort of trying things out. And I would say I'm not really an acoustic artist, but I think just because of the way I record, how easy it is, that's sort of what I've been doing, really. So my style is like sort of rock, but without a band, basically. If I could have a band, I would, but I just sort of do stuff on my own. That's sort of my style is that really, I suppose.
I think it reminds me of like Nirvana's sort of quieter tracks. Is there any Nirvana influence in there?
Yeah, so I like a lot of that music. I think not just them, but primarily maybe them, but also stuff that's kind of probably people don't understand. Is I like a lot of John Lennon, which sounds quite weird, but I like a lot of his sort of demos that he did and sort of stuff like that, which is a bit more I guess less well known. It's more like I'd sort of call that sort of a bit like punk singer-songwriter, sort of the early sort of stages. But yeah, definitely Nirvana and definitely Radiohead and sort of like other 90s stuff as well, really.
No, that doesn't sound weird at all, mate. John Lennon is universally loved. I'm sorry to break it to you, but yeah, great guy. Yeah, that's cool, man. So like, whereabouts are you from? Is it Southampton way?
Yeah, so I'm from a little village just outside. Well, I say a village, it's not that small, but from Romsey, just outside Southampton, which is in Hampshire.
I've been down to Southampton quite a few times. One of my best mates lived there for a few years. So yeah, I've been down your neck of the woods. Have you ever played at the 1865 club?
I have. I played back when I was in my band there. We opened for, I can't remember who, it was someone quite punky. I'll think of it. I can't remember who it was, but that was quite a big gig. But yeah, I played there once.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, interesting. So have you ever thought about, like, you're saying you think of yourself more as a band music, but so in your actual recorded tracks, it's mostly just guitar and you, isn't it? Have you thought about putting that into a door? Do we just call them doors? Nobody calls them DAWs, do they? Have you ever thought about putting that into a door and adding your own drums or anything like that? Or
well, it's interesting you should say that. It's just because I don't know, the way I record I don't really use the computer. When I started off sort of recording and all that sort of thing, can you see it? Maybe not, but I can bring it over. But actually, I'll go get it one sec. Give me a second and I'll grab it because I'll show you what I started to record on because that would be pretty cool.
Is this a podcast first?
It might be. I don't know. I was literally about to ask, like, what is recording setup?
Actually, Desai actually went and got something, didn't he? But I can't remember what it was.
This is what I recorded on, basically, and it's like you've basically got two inputs, and that's it, really. And you just record onto. If you put the tape in there, I don't know if people remember the old tape days, oh, sorry, hold that up there. But you literally put your tape in there and you got 2 inputs, and that's literally it. You got your gain, your volume, and that's it. But basically, pretty much how all my early stuff was recorded. Nowadays, I do have better stuff, but I still don't really use the computer too much. I do use it a little bit, but just to trim, literally just to trim, not to actually record anything.
So, and I'm young, so bear with me here.
Yeah.
So you record there. How do you get it to Spotify? Like, what's the process of getting it from tape to Spotify?
Well, it's a bit confusing, but basically there's like jacks, like I got one here like this. It's basically the headphone out port, which your headphones go to, and you put it out and you put it into your computer, into the little it's like a 3.5mm jack that I've got on my laptop. But that's how I did it. So it's not very good, but I suppose it just works. Kind of weird. It's like it got a line out on it, so it just goes in, I suppose, which is weird.
So what are you running it on computer? Are you putting that into Audacity or something? Or?
Yeah, but not Audacity. It's a slightly better one. I forget what its name is. It's like Ocean Audio or something. I don't know if that's the name, but it's something like that. It's basically Audacity though, but it's just like a slightly better one. But yeah, that's how I recorded it. Not my last 2 songs, but that's how I recorded like everything for the last year. My first sort of stuff for the year and a half. Right.
What did you do differently with the last 2?
So the last 2 is being recorded to actually on a mixing desk. Actually, so it's like an upgraded thing. I don't throw it, but here we go. It's like recorded onto here, which is just like a mixing desk, but it's it's got all your stuff in the back. It's quite a lot. It's actually all right, but yeah, you literally it's like old fashioned. Well, not that old fashioned, I suppose, but you
That's
just
really
like literally records onto that.
Is that like a conscious choice that you've made to use like analog equipment?
Yeah, I think I just prefer sort of the work, the workings of it, because I don't know, because I think I've said this to people before when they ask, and it's not that it makes that much difference. It's just because I'm on the computer all the time. Do you know what I mean? So it's like if you're going to create something, sometimes if you're going to sit down where you always do your work and you do your other stuff, it gets a bit like the same. I mean, when I use that, like, because it's a board, I literally put my computer away. Like I move it across the room or put it away and then just set my desk up. So it's like changed over just, so when I do it, it's just like I'm doing music. There's no distractions. There ain't something popping up or, anyone trying to call me or anything. Put my phone on silent. And yeah, I think it just helps a little bit just to get sort of into it and all that.
I think recording analog is NAS first, Wilko. So that's definitely exclusive to this episode, right? Because I don't think I know any other artists that record that way. Like I think even our song with Mercury is like it was digitally analoged or something like we had to add in the analog sound to it.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well these days. I think a lot of people, it's weird because a lot of people like that sound. So like you say, they just like, they record something, then they add the tape effect or whatever. So I don't know, you might as well just do it, I suppose. But it is a bit harder. That is the truth. It's a bit harder to do it that way.
So let's talk a little bit about NAS and how did you find the community? How do you like the community? Some of your favorite parts of everything that goes on here?
Okay, so I found out about this by sort of accident, I suppose. I think it was like, I can't remember exactly how, but I think it was on one of the sites sort of thing. One of the, either Submit Hub or something like that. I can't quite remember, but sort of stumbled it by accident. And then I didn't sort of join for a bit. I sort of stood back. I had one of my songs on there, but I sort of stood back from it for a couple of months. And then I joined back again and then started sort of properly doing stuff like the end of, I think 1 year ago. Can't quite remember. Not longer than that. But like I like it. At first, it was a bit intimidating with everyone. you know, like there's a lot of people in there, so it's kind of hard to sort of, you know, I was quite quiet and just got my 20 points or whatever, 30 points, and just like stuck with it for a bit, and then I didn't really like sort of use it. Do you know what I mean? Like I just did the minimum sort of thing. But then I only started getting into it like last couple of months, well, a bit longer than that, maybe 6 months, and sort of really started realizing that, you know, it's just what you need, because a lot of people out there, you know, like I try and push my music a lot, you know, I email a lot of people and stuff, and I think, I'm going to be honest, I think like 60% maybe, okay, that's a random number, but it's all scams. Like people, they want money, and they can't really help you, you know, they don't really care. There's no vested interest in it. But I think NAS is good because, you know, everyone's got a little bit of a stake in it. You know what I mean? Like everyone's got sort of a, you know, if everyone does well, then everyone does well, you know, like, so it helps, you know, if everyone's batting on your team, basically, you know, batting for you. Whereas most people online, they're gonna either shaft you for money or they don't care, you know. So it's kind of tough out there, really, a lot of the time. But if you have some people who just give you a bit of encouragement, I know that sounds a bit weird, but it is quite encouraging just to talk to similar people, you know, because otherwise it would be quite lonely, I suppose, which is a weird thing to say, but it is lonely. Like,
I don't think any of this stuff's weird, man. You keep saying, "Oh, it's a weird thing to say," but no, you've absolutely bang on with a lot of it. And I think that from the NAS, because it's more of a community than like you say, some of these just pay for a playlist, which I don't do either, and I really don't want to do it. I wouldn't go down that route. I wouldn't really recommend any artist goes down that route unless they really know what they're doing. But yeah, because it's sort of accountable and you know who people are, you put in a bit of yourself in there as well, and you sort of learning about these artists. It's like you say, if someone grows, we all grow, and yeah, it's so much better like than most of the stuff that's out there. But you've actually you've contributed a lot in the last few months. I've noticed you're always in the chats and helping other people out, and I noticed you asking a few questions as well, bringing a light to certain problems that come with being an artist, like when something messes up on your distribution service or these sorts of things. It's handy to have people around to ask, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just, you know, so sometimes it's hard to find answers to really sort of niche problems, I suppose, because they are like, if something messes up and it's such a small thing, and sometimes it feels like with the distributors and all that, it feels like kind of like they're this big company, you know what I mean? And it's like you're trying to find sort of like your way around how it really works. And you don't, to be honest, I don't think any of us in NAS really know, but because some of us know a little bit, then if we put it all together, then you get a better.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say actually. About 3 days ago, I checked my stats, and Poverty in the UK had 1,500 streams in a day, or in 2 days, from that same EDM playlist that you'd been added to, like some dodgy EDM playlist. So again, if it wasn't for NAS, I wouldn't have had a clue what was going on. But I'd seen you post about the same playlist like a couple of days earlier, so it's just like, no bother.
That's actually, that's pretty bad. I don't know what's going on with that. Like, I've noticed it now, but I got 22,000 plays from that, which is a lot in 4 days. So that's quite crazy, and I was quite worried about that. And obviously, I was posting quite a bit because that was a lot. 1,000, I mean, you know, it's not too bad. You know?
It'll slip under the radar.
I got but 22,000 in 4 days was quite worrying, you know, I suppose. But it's like one of those things that, you know, you can't help it. It's literally nothing you can do, really, apart from talk about it, really, and just let everyone know. But it's quite worrying, really. They can just do that, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I've had experience with sketchy playlists. Like even just like starting out in like 2020. It's not when I started music, but kind of like when I started like really just kind of going really hard with the music. Right around when COVID hit and I was graduating college and everything, and like the people are just constantly in your DMs like, oh, pay me $10, I'll put you on this playlist, you'll get this many streams, right? And it's so hard to decipher like what's real, what's fake. I know there was one thing and it was running ads. So I'm thinking like, you know, like people that scam are just kind of slide into your DMs. They're not gonna actually be running ads to, however much of Instagram or whatever. And it was like free playlist for serious artists. And I was like, I responded to it because I'm like, well, it's free. It's free. Like, what harm could it do? They're like, well, it's only we did free for the ad, but it's really $1. And I'm like, okay, well, it's $1. They're like, oh, if you can't put $1 into your own like music promotion, then you're not really serious, and we don't want to work with you. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll pay $1. Like whatever, it's $1. And then like a week or two later, or something like that, they just like took like a big sum of money out of my bank account, and I was like, what the? Like they didn't even do anything. Like they acted like they were doing something. Like I guess they just like created a web page or something, and like they had created an article or something, or got me posted somewhere and sent it to me. But like you can't find it like on Google or anything like that. Like I know this now, but I didn't know it at the time. It's like I went back and was like trying to figure out what the heck is going on or who they were. It's like you can't really find them or figure out who they are, what they're doing, but they just tried to take like $200-300 out of my bank account. It was like, so now they're scamming you out of your money, just whatever they're asking you for, and then if they can get your details, they're scamming you just in general on top of that. And so like it's really, now it's like, it's not even like a double-edged sword, it's like a sword with two knives pointed directly at you. Like, how am I supposed to figure out who's legit and who's not legit without risking like the legitimacy of like where I'm putting my music? And two, like I want to put money behind my music because that's how you grow it. But at the same time, like I don't want to give my money to somebody who's gonna go back and try to like scam me later. So I don't know. It's like a scary environment to be in for an independent artist if you don't have like professionals around you that are, showing you what to do and you're trying to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to hear that. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's either you go down one route, like you say, you've got to give money to promote your music because it makes sense, doesn't it? You're marketing a product. But with so many scams, you feel like you don't want to give, like £1 away. Like I just don't, like, as soon as somebody asks me for money, no matter how legit it is, I'm like, no, because of how, scary it is. Like, but yeah, it's just terrible, really. And like if you don't have anyone supporting you, no way to sort of get your music out there, I think it makes it worse as well. Like you don't have any community who's going to listen to it, and you just really want it out there. I think that's when you're at your most vulnerable. But I think the good thing about NAS and like meeting everyone and stuff is you do feel a bit more like less pressure to do that. Like you want to keep growing, but you really feel like you're doing enough, so you feel a bit more like just confident with what you're doing.
But that's it, yeah. And some of the emails you get, it's like, oh, pay me $100 and I'll get you 1,000 streams or something like that. And you're like, I can get 1,000 streams in a few days just by being part of NAS. Like I'm not paying anything and actually earn royalties, no matter how small they are. So speaking of earning royalties, anyway, we're going to play one of your tracks today. Do you want to tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, so this is not my last single. It's the first one that was recorded on the new board. So it's like the first, shall we say, like new recording method. But yeah, that song's called Have It All. And yeah.
Don't help yourself. You won't brave the day. You won't mean a thing. They don't hate you, make you, yeah, text you. They don't hate you, make you, yeah, text you. You won't have to change, you won't make amends, you will stay the same. They don't hate you, make you, yeah, text you. They don't hate you, make you, yeah, text you. You don't help yourself, you won't brave the day. You change, you won't make amends. You will stay the same. Don't help yourself, you won't make amends. You will stay the same.
So that was Have It All by Charlie Smith. Thank you again for letting us play that on the show. So I was scrolling through your Instagram and it looks like are you doing gigs now? Like how have you been able to perform and stuff like post COVID, or how is that area of music going for you?
Yeah, I think that's probably my best area now. For a long while, obviously, because of COVID and sort of last year as well, even when it was getting a bit better, I wasn't really great, I didn't really do much. But now at the moment, it's pretty good, like I'm really sort of doing what I want, A lot of stuff, I will admit, the only bad side to what I'm doing is I'm taking quite a lot of last minute stuff. Like 2 weeks back, I played a gig in London, but I only got given the gig on Wednesday. And, London's quite far. Well, it's not that far from where I am, but it's a little bit far. I had to, plan that. But that was quite, it's quite good. The gig itself was not bad, but it's sort of like, I'm getting like just taking more opportunities because, again, I'm feeling a bit more confident now and all that. I've done a few charity things as well, which is good. And I've got some things coming up next month. I think I've got a ticketed gig which I've set up, which is like 9 local acoustic sort of acts. They're not all like solo, but it's like singer-songwriter style sort of thing. So there's like one duo and that, but it's quite like a stripped down evening, if you like. And I've kind of helped put that all together. And I've got a gig like in Brighton, like at a brewery, just a little thing, and maybe some other charity things. So it's actually going really nice, and like, it's just been really good. It's just probably the only thing I'll be critical of myself is like to maybe get some stuff booked up, rather than doing things at the last minute. I mean, it is fun to do stuff, but at the same time, it's kind of a bit random. Like I've been random places, doing gigs for random people, and it's all a bit last minute, but it is fun and I've enjoyed it, so I can't complain.
Yeah, that's good, man. Is that your favourite part of the process, playing live, or what would you say is like your favourite part of the whole music process?
You know what? I think it is. I think it's just because it gets me out, and it's usually quite, I don't know. I think online when you do your music, sometimes people take it a little bit for granted, if that makes sense. Like if you put your heart and soul into making a new piece of music and you're like, yeah, everyone listens to this song, people are kind of like hit or miss on it, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it can go well and all that, and over time people listen to it. But when you do a gig somewhere, it's like people respect that more, like not respect it, kind of not the right word, but people
got a captive audience, haven't you? They're sat there listening to you and they can focus on it rather than sat there getting bored after 20 seconds watching it on Instagram because they've got the urge to scroll. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, they sort of appreciate you doing it, there's like, when they can actually see you live sort of thing. I'll be honest, I probably still need to improve because, like I said, I've taken some last minute sort of stuff, and it's not always been as well. Like my 20-minute sets, 25-minute set is pretty good. 45 minutes, half an hour is like, I'm pretty comfortable, but I've done longer stuff, which was a bit like out of my comfort zone. Because it's quite a long time if they're asking you to do like an hour or, longer. But I definitely think that's like the most enjoyable part, because you also get to meet people as well. That's the great thing. It's like when you do gigs, you always meet people, other musicians, people who like music. So even like the sound engineer is probably like a good person to talk to because they know so much about music and all that stuff. And it's nice just to talk to people who actually like what you like, basically.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So have you had any, I guess, particularly good or particularly bad experiences while out playing shows? Anything that comes to mind you want to bring up?
Yeah, I think there's a couple. I mean, the thing that really strikes me really, I can't say I've had like necessarily a bad show per se, but I've just had stuff that's interesting. Like one a while back because I played in Bournemouth, which was like a punk gig. And that was just like, I don't know, it was just, I haven't been to Bournemouth in a lot of years. And I just went there and it was just like, it was just so weird for me to be back in the sort of band scene again, because I've been so, you know, so far away, and to hear, you know, actual like punk music and stuff back again. But that really stands out in sort of my mind. And it wasn't, you know, like I didn't actually get even paid for that. You know, they just gave me some free drinks. So it was like not a great experience to go all that way and nothing, but, you know, at the same time, it was still like a good learning curve. And I still enjoyed, like, you know, it's just weird because like being around bands when you're just a solo guy with a guitar is quite weird, you know, but hopefully I did all right that one.
That's good, man. I'm sensing there's a lot of, everything's weird in the world of Charlie Smith.
I keep saying that, don't I? It's quite weird. It's just weird for me.
It's weird,
this
man.
podcast is weird because I'm not used to it, but...
Yeah, it's all a bit weird, man, but that's the life of an artist, isn't it? You constantly, like you said, it's all a good experience to grow, and you're constantly sort of taking different sensory things in and going outside your comfort zone and being put in situations that are a little bit weird or like awkward or like challenging. But I think that's part of the joy of it, isn't it? You never quite know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's just like with all that sort of stuff, you know, it's just like you might just be dropping in for someone, or, you know, stepping in if somebody's, you know, pulled out or something. That's the kind of thing I do. So it's almost like you shouldn't really be there, you know. You didn't know you were going to be there only like a day or two, and it is quite the experience. But, you know, like I say, it's always quite good in the end. You feel much better afterwards as well. You might feel a bit scared before and all that, what I do, but afterwards I feel better about, you know, going and actually doing something.
So what can we expect from you? You got anything queued up for us? Anything coming down the line this year?
Yeah, so this year, I'm really looking forward to the gig I've got. Is it 2 weeks now? I'm not quite sure. It's on the 8th of next month. That's probably the biggest thing I'm looking forward to, because I've put a lot of effort setting that up and sort of getting all that together. So I'm quite looking forward to that. And then later on in the year, it's a little bit more gigs. Song recording wise, hopefully I should have the full sort of like, I'll have another single, and I should hopefully have the full album, basically a lot of stuff recorded. So hopefully that should be coming by the end of the year, but we'll have to see about that. But I hope so.
Exciting, man. I'm sure there'll be plenty more. You're always working on it, so whatever direction you take next, it might not even yet be in the offing. You know, it might be a constantly changing thing. We'll see, but I'll certainly look out for your future as an artist. But before we say goodbye to you, I've got one question for you, and one question only, followed by some more questions. But the one question now is, do you think you can handle taking on the famous NAS Quickfire 5?
Yeah, I can do it.
Thinks you can do it.
Let me just straighten up, get my headset right.
Sounds confident, but many people have sat in that chair and crumbled.
Yeah. Okay,
Origin, I'll let you go, mate. You do the honours.
All right, what is your favorite song from the NAS playlist?
Well, I think my favorite song is something by the Bass Coats. It's probably Secret Smile by the Bass Coats, or one of their songs. I'm not saying it's that, but let's go for that.
Let's go with it, man. Question 2, which NAS member would you most like us to get on this podcast?
On this podcast? Oh, I don't know. That's really put me on the spot. I don't know. Anyone? Oh, I'm crumbling. The cat. Oh, I don't know. This is tough. Oh no, he's crumbled. But everyone I know's been on it. I can't do it.
I wasn't counting. I'm sure you're out of time. We're gonna move on to the next.
That was an absolute car crash. By the way, do you know? I don't know if we said it. You only get 15 seconds to answer every question.
Yeah, I know, but I just crumbled.
Good.
You could have given me 2 minminutes. I wouldn't have got it.
Really bad, that, mate. It was.
That was awful. Yeah,
they'll be on the bloopers video.
Complete violation of the rules, right there. We're gonna move on.
Yeah, that's for the best.
To your favorite song of all time.
My favorite song of all time. Right. This isn't gonna sound good, but it's it's going to be Reach for the Stars by S Club 7. I think we're going to go for that. I'm just going to say that because it's...
Mate, that's an epic choice. That is epic.
And it is.
How old are you, by the way?
I am 25.
25?
Just.
25.
When you picked S Club 7, but they were around when I was a kid, and I'm 34 now. I used to watch the TV series. That's how they came out. Anyway, let's go on with a quick fire.
You were a teenager, I reckon. You were just in your teenage years loving that.
Yeah, mate. No, I don't think so. Man. Okay, question 4.
You asked him his age. That's kind of a question.
That is true.
Yeah, that's true. But it wasn't part of the... Yes, quick fire 6 this week. Question 5. Which band or artist, past or present, would you most like to see live?
That is, I probably have to say, I would say S Club 7 again, but because I've already said them, I'm going to say Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan.
If you could spend a day with one other artist from NAS, who would you pick?
You see, that is quite tough. But I think I'd have to find out I'd have to quiz everyone and see who's got the cheapest beer prices. And, who's ever's got the cheapest local prices, then I'll go there and have a good session, I reckon. So, yeah, that's what I'll do. Because I like beer, I suppose. Cheap beer, the better.
I mean, I'm afraid you're going to meet a similar fate to Rich Allen last week. And you are hereby banned from the NAS Quickfire 5 because you didn't answer happen. You didn't answer that question. You dodged it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's like Mastermind, except for when I failed.
Yeah, we won't even put this podcast out now. We'll just put it straight in the recycle bin.
Well, that's all right. My secret will be safe about analog, so it's fine. I don't mind because everyone will be copying me now. They'll be getting their tape decks out and recording like they're out of the loft and all that.
Well, in case this does see the light of day, tell everybody watching where they can find you, social media, streaming, wherever you are.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much just the Charlie Smith. You can write that in. There are a few other Charlie Smiths, but they're no good guys. They're terrible. Don't listen to them. But it's Charlie Smith Music on most, which is like Instagram is Charlie_Smith Music. But if you type Charlie Smith, you will see the biscuit. Basically, you'll find it if you just type that in.
I thought it was a waffle.
It's not a waffle. No, it's a digestive. But you see, that's a British thing. See, people might get confused, but...
Yeah, what we call biscuits isn't the same as what Americans call biscuits either.
No, that's true.
I can't remember what... I think, is it dumplings or something that Americans call them biscuits? Biscuits and gravy. Doesn't make much sense. But...
You wouldn't put gravy on your digestive.
No, not at all, no. Look out for the digestive.
Well, I'm confused. Wilko, take us home.
Well, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's been great. And we'll see you all soon. Let us know if you've got any questions, if you've got any comments, if you've got people that you want to see on this podcast, get in touch with myself or Origin. We're always happy to hear suggestions. And big up all the partners as well. Looking forward to the top 20 countdown as always. I'll see you all there.
Peace.
Bye, everyone.
New artist spotlight.